y'all? How y'all doing? Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Eat with Philly Field Talk Show and more, where we do social justice over here. Okay, activists in training. Yes. What's going on, everybody? I cannot get my TV to work. Well, my YouTube will play up here. I can't. This is just really pissing me off. I don't know what's going on with it. The TV will. It won't show the video. Anywho, how's everybody doing? Thank you, Alice, blessed child of God, for becoming a member. I sure do appreciate it. I need all the members I can get. Yes, I do. I'm trying to get this TV to work. Um, but I ran across this story. This 15-year-old young man was murked. And as I listen, I mean, the story, this sheriff is really pissed off about it. Some of you may have heard it happened in Florida. Some of you may have heard about it. I don't know. But I thought I just want to just talk about this for a minute. And let me put my banner up, YouTube. I am just doing commentary. Okay, I will be playing some of content that does not belong to me, but it's for learning and teaching purposes. All right. And we are definitely going to learn a little bit today. All right, guys, I know I haven't been over here doing as much social justice news as I should. I definitely need to get back out here and start doing it because people will try to steal your stuff when you take a little time off. But anywho, let's just get down to this. So there was a 15-year-old. The first one that we're going to listen to, and I'll stop and give commentary because you just don't want to play stuff straight through and not say anything because then YouTube will say you're just stealing and using somebody's content. Do your own stuff. But I want to listen and want you guys to listen as well. My title is Social Justice Hour. I mean, what happened to the with PP? Sheriff says guns, drugs. Oh, and I just got I got typos everywhere. I get the type in with. Let me put the PP in there. Can I put the PP in there? Drugs. drugs. Y'all know I can't spell. Okay. And I am at the one. Why is my? I'm just gonna say Social Justice Hour. Okay. I wanted to update that spelling. I hope it takes. Y'all didn't tell me I had some typos in there. Okay. I tried to fix the typos. Hello, Miss Annie. How you doing? Hey, Kizzy, how you doing? What's going on? Chanel, welcome. Queen Black, hello. How you doing, Queen Black? Shout out to all the members in the house. Thank you for being members. Yes, I saw it already. I love Sheriff Judge. He don't play. No, he don't play, honey. Anyway, you didn't send me that. It had to just pop up in my feed. I didn't know about this story. Well, I want to talk about it, honey, because that sheriff, he made a lot of sense. And, he may seem like he was being harsh, but it is what it is. And it lets you know that parents can do all that they can do and they can love their children. They can be good parents. A lot of people out here like to talk about people parenting skills, but parents can do all that they can do. You can't tell these children what to do. You'll think your child is gone. You'll go to bed. Your child will be in the bed and you go to bed. You wake up and your child has snuck out the house. These young teenage boys will leave and end up on the streets with weapons and this, that, and the other. But it's not that the parents wanted them to do that and they was trying to lead them in the right way, but they're going to do what they do. Let me go ahead and start playing some of this, honey. So this is the conference he gave talking about the 15-year-old who was murked in Winter Haven. And he's going to be very graphic with it, honey.
Witness. And she was going to a friend's house in order to avoid the long drive home. As she pulled into the driveway of the friend's house, and that was on St. Paul Drive, 3060 St. Paul Drive, she called her friend inside and said, "Hey, somebody's laying in your driveway." So the friend comes out and the two of them look, and there is this person deceased. This person that was deceased turns out to be 15 years of age. We've now made the notice to the kinfolks, and I am able to release his name and his identification in order to help advance this investigation because his mother gave us permission to. His mother said to us,
So he's given the backstory of the young 15-year-old who was murked in someone's driveway. So, he doesn't know who did it at this point in time. He doesn't know. He just know that there's been a 15-year-old who lost his life. The mother thought he was at home in bed when he wasn't. I want y'all to hear the sheriff say it.
because my question was, where's your 15-year-old son in the middle of the night? Why isn't he home in bed? Mom thought he was home in bed. She has a infant, a baby, and when she went to bed last night at about 10 o'clock, he was sitting on the couch playing games on his phone. Mom woke up about 3 o'clock this morning to tend to the baby and noticed that the 15-year-old was not on the couch, so she figured he'd gone to bed. As far as she knew, he was home in bed asleep. Well,
No.
Our victim, Quayshawn Burgess Jr. of 955 Forest Drive in Bartow, was in fact at 3 o'clock this morning dead in the street or the driveway of St. Paul Drive in Winter Haven. This is a picture of Quayshawn when he was 11 years old. He was a good kid. And Mom.
So that's him when he was 11 years old. That's him when he was 11 years old. And you're going to see how he, as he gets older, how he and gets with the wrong crowd. And, his mom, I'm sure she did all she could. She did all she could. But he, look, a little innocent 11-year-old, she loved her baby. That's her child. That's her child. She loved her son. And the sheriff's going to say that as well. Let me see. How did I have this? Okay. Let's get back to listening to what the sheriff has to say.
Mom said that as he got older, he got to be a problem. Quayshawn is now documented as a gang member. He's currently on probation for a misdemeanor, a burglary that was reduced to a trespass. And quite frankly, he violated his probation because
Now, he had violated his probation, so technically he should have been arrested and in jail, and therefore he would not have been out and wouldn't have been able to be out on the streets and, be able to lose his life. And the sheriff is going to say that. I thought I had sent this to my brother. So let's continue listening to what the sheriff has to say.
he's supposed to be enrolled in school.
Wasn't going to school.
But Quayshawn has not been going to school this year. And in fact, some of our questions of probation, DJJ probation, is had you violated him and put him in juvenile detention, then he wouldn't have been on the streets.
So basically what he's saying is the probation officer didn't do their job. They should have been following up, making sure he was going to school and doing what he was supposed to do in order to be on probation. They dropped the ball. They don't care. They just want to make that money and get those little probation fees that they have to pay every month. They were not doing their job. Therefore, the young man was still out and about when he should have been incarcerated. At least he wouldn't have been able to do any more crimes and lose his life. If you look at it that way, that's how the sheriff is looking at it. That's just my opinion.
To have been murdered last night. Those hard questions will be asked later. And certainly we hope that there is some reasonable reason that a VOP was not done and Quayshawn was not arrested. But once again, the jail's not necessarily a bad thing, because had there been a violation of probation, And had Quashan been in our jail last night, he would have been alive and well. He was shot. He was murdered in the street at only 15 years of age. He's had trouble at school. He's been the subject of investigations, but he's only had 2 arrests, which equaled 8 charges. And all of those arrests have occurred since May of this year.
You know,
We know this.
it never amazes me at how some people can just commit crimes and do things over and over. And then you have some people do one little thing and they're locked up for life. I don't understand it. The law, it's just not. It doesn't work as it should. Okay, it doesn't work the way that it needs to work. No, it doesn't. Show enough, how you doing? Thank y'all for stopping by. We're just doing a little social justice this morning. There's another press conference with all people. Yeah, I'm gonna do both. I got all of them. I mean, I got both. I'm gonna listen to them. Ooh, barbecue chicken, collard green. Oh, you eating good today? Okay, let me quit. I don't know if I'm a cook or not. I got some oxtails in there I took out.
We believe, based on the circumstances at hand, that whoever murdered Quashan Burgess Jr. knew him. Interestingly enough, he lives in Bartow. He has family in Lakeland, but he's murdered in Winter Haven, and he was out roaming around on St. Paul Drive for reasons we don't know in the middle of the night. Quashan's mama's a good lady.
See, now he didn't know, but they did their investigation. We're gonna listen to the other video in a minute. But he's just breaking down, he's trying to say we will find out who took the life of this 15-year-old man. They didn't know what had happened. They didn't know what had caused him to lose his life at this point. Okay, now he's going to talk about the mom and how she was a good mother and she loved her son. But kids will go astray. Kids will go astray. You can, never mind.
She goes to church. She was trying her best. Quashan grew up and he began to get in trouble.
Look at him now.
He had tattoos and was a documented gang member, but he's still a 15-year-old child, and his mother and his family loves him very much. We need someone to call. Crime Stoppers, 1-800-226-TIPS. Make $5,000, no question asked. Just tell us who shot, who murdered Quashan Burgess Jr. at some time just before 2:35 this morning. So at the
yes, sure enough, that probation officer dropped the ball, didn't do their job, just wanted to collect the monthly fee. And when he was not going to school and doing other things, he should have lost his probation and been locked back up. And he wouldn't have been able to be out on the street to roam the streets at 3 a.m. while his mama go to bed. He playing games sitting on the sofa. She go to bed, he leave the house. She didn't want him doing that, but what can you do?
At the end of the day, we believe that the person that shot Quashan Burgess was known by him. The information that we developed at this time, we have, as you might expect, some video from a neighbor. There was no conflict. There was no fight. There was simply the opportunity for Quashan to be shot and killed. And that's what we're investigating. So help us out. Give us some information. Keep Quashan's family and especially his mother in your prayers. Once again, Mom thought he was home.
How y'all doing?
He refused to go to school this year. She just had her handful with him as he grew up.
When these young boys and they get to hanging out in the streets and, thank God, knock on wood, I just never had that problem. I didn't. Thank you, Jesus. Rico didn't do that. He didn't do it. Ashley didn't do it. I mean, I'm just, I don't know what I would have did. I would have just been ready. I don't know. And people, these parents, they do all that they can. She was doing all that she could. all that she could. Where are you, Michael? I can't. Hold on. Let me get you in here.
Are we on here talking about being a mother? No, let me.
Hold on. Let me. What happened? Okay. Hey, Mike. How you doing? Welcome to the Social Justice Hour. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm not the uncle. Um,
I'm doing just fine. I'm trying to get this to where. Let me do it like that. Okay, I'm gonna do it like that. Now say what you say.
I wasn't his probation officer like my probation officer. I'm 50 something damn years old. And this woman want to know every damn place I'm at.
The probation officer dropped the ball.
I,
Yes, she did.
I
He
can't
should have been when he wasn't going to school. He should have been arrested or whatever they do when you don't follow your probation rules.
look. I'm 55 years old. And I can't go use the bathroom without calling her. I gotta call my.
I know that's a joke, but I know you have to report in or do something, right?
Yes, sir.
How does that work?
Well, you know, when you're on probation, well, it's different when you're a child. When you're a grown up, normally you have to report once a month. But as a child, they look into your school attendance. They look into any police contact you've had.
Hmm.
Um, any you have a curfew, so they look into those violations. So she really did. He or she really did drop the ball when it came to him. They should have had him on
A monitor?
yeah, a monitor. Lord knows I had one of those on for almost 6 months, didn't I?
They should have. Well, let's continue to listen to what this sheriff had to say about his mom and how she tried. I'm gonna put this on. I'm put it on mute. Just unmute yourself if you want to say something.
But once again, here's a good kid. And the streets had turned him into a gangster. But his mom still loved him, and he still loved his mom. He didn't deserve to die. And we're going to find out who murdered him. You might as well go ahead and collect the $5,000 and speed things up because the murderers are going to jail. You can make this happen sooner rather than later, and you get money and don't have to get involved in it. Are there any questions? He had arrest for burglary and resisting. However, all of that was pled down to trespassing and probation. And he was on probation apparently since May of this year. My relatively minor charges, resisting is never a good thing. However, it was not significant. He has been a suspect in running with shooters. And when you run with shooters, they turn the gun on you sometimes. That apparently happened last night.
He, this sheriff just broke it down. When you run with trash, you will be trash. When you run with shooters, you're gonna end up. The bullet will end up possibly turning back on you. Mike, you want to comment on what he just said? He must be doing something else, child. Okay, let's go back to the sheriff. I tell you, my co-host.
Now, was this one of the people he was running with? I'm waiting for the community to tell us. But when you run with shooters, you live by the gun, you die by the gun.
Mm.
Is this area known for its gang activity? And also, what's your message to parents? It sounds like this kid had a great mom. What should parents do if they're living in an area with a lot of pavement?
Certainly, first and foremost, St. Paul Drive has a mixture of Center and Saint. There's some really good, hardworking people that live there.
You know, a lot of the neighborhoods where trap houses and drugs and this, that, and the other things occur, they're really good neighborhoods. It's just a few select people that make it bad. And that's a fact. That is truly a fact. But that next video that we listen to is going to get more into it.
We've worked homicides, murders on that street before as well. So there is a mixture of Center and Saint. But if you're having trouble with your son or your daughter, there's help. First and foremost, go to the school resource officers where he or she should be attending school. Go to the school officials. We will make sure we get them into school and we get them before counselors. Because listen, it's not all right for kids to shoot kids. Not now, not ever. Our goal is to protect Quishon Burgess Jr. We take an oath of office to protect him. He was a good kid who was going down the wrong path as he got into his teen years. And when you get hooked up with gangbangers and you get hooked up with shooters and you start running the streets and thinking it's cool, you can end up dead. And that's what happened to this Quishon Burgess Jr.
You know what?
Hold on. Go ahead.
This is one of the good reasons why I'm so glad.
You breaking up.
When I say that my mother, this is one of the reasons why I say that I'm so glad that God used my mother as the vessel, because one thing, she would always look at TV and see kids and she'd go, I wish mine would. And wait, and I'm just saying this just because of her, because she put that fear enough that prison never even crossed my mind to be in prison, because it starts in school. Even when, back in the day when they had paddling, you can get a choice to get a paddle or they call your mama. I take the paddle because I knew the paddle would be a lot less worse than them calling my mama.
Because Mama Michael wasn't going. And this young man, Quishon, I believe, his mother did all she could. Like this chef said, she was a good mother, but she probably had to go to work. She had other children. She went to bed with him playing his game, sitting on the sofa. And she had a younger baby because the man says that she got up at 3 a.m. to feed that baby and realized he was gone. But anyway.
She just didn't have that gangster in her. And I believe, I'm serious, sometimes you have to mentally scare your child. In these day and age, you have to mentally scare them to where they say, what is the outcome? If I do this, what is going to be the outcome between my mama or this? And that's just simple to me.
Well, would I rather be arrested, or do I want my mama to beat me down?
Well, yeah.
Oh, well, let's finish this little clip here.
We started a gang task force in order to reduce this. Gang violence is on the increase across this nation. And of course, Polk County is no exception. While our crime is at a 51-year low, for which we're proud of, we've got problems with kids shooting kids. And primarily they're gangbangers. And they're not only shooting kids, but they're retaliating. And as a result of a Lakeland police officer intervening in one event, he was shot by a gangbanger. We worked that investigation with the Lakeland Police Department after we'd arrested him for having a gun and breaking into cars 4 months earlier. He was 13 years old. So he's 13 that shot a Lakeland police officer not long ago. Our victim here is 15 years of age. I can't say in strong enough terms, this has to stop. And we as adults in this community have to stop it.
He's right. It has to stop. And it's going to take communities coming together and people having to do some things that they don't want to do, and not necessarily snitching, but just trying to maybe talk to people, say, look, what you're doing is wrong. It's wrong. And you need to stop. That's just my opinion. Okay.
That, you know what? I agree with you and I disagree. It starts in the house. It starts in the home. We put too much on other people. I know that it takes a village and all of that, okay. But we put too much on other people. Now, I can see if it's a single mother, things like that. But that stuff starts in your own house. Stop talking about what a rapper shouldn't rap about. Stop talking about what somebody shouldn't believe in. Kids follow this. That is such bull crap. Because from a child, you raise a child up to the way it should be. Why they in your house? Now, once they get out your house, they do whatever they want. I just don't believe that. It didn't take my neighbor to tell me what the hell not to do. My mama told me that, and she was stern about it. And that's just my opinion on it. A little child can't tell you nothing. You knock the hell out that little baby. You whoop that little baby ass enough, it'll stop. I'm just a believer in that. Stop giving these kids all these rights. You can't hit them. You can't tell them they can't use the phone. You can't do this. You can't do that. That's why the hell the way they are the way they are. That's just my opinion, y'all. My mama didn't play that. It wasn't no debates or none of that. What she said went. Did some of us fall off or make wrong decisions? Yeah. But it wasn't no life-threatening decision. It wasn't no stupid. It was some stupid ones, but it wasn't stupid to the point where there was no coming back from it. Yeah, we tried her sometime, but we never tried her that bad.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you're right. It does start in the home, but like this sheriff is saying, that mother did all that she could do. She went to bed with her son at home. She was doing all the shit. Sometimes it takes people, out on the outside that these children they respect more. Unfortunately, they look. Let me say they
Was
look
the
up
father
to
in the home?
the gangsters or whatever you want to call them.
Was the father in the home?
I don't know. He never mentioned the father. Let's continue listening. I don't know. He never mentioned the father. Not yet, anyway.
And it starts at home. We can't manage them in school. We can't give them an opportunity to do better if they're not in school. We're not going to let kids shoot kids. If we have to keep them locked up in jail, so be it. I'd rather them be alive in jail than across the street in the medical examiner's office dead like Quashan is right now. That's why we have our task force. We've taken guns off the streets. We've arrested a lot of gangbangers. Our state attorney, Brian Haas, who is simply the very best, has made it abundantly clear that he will waive them to adult court and appropriately have sanctions over them to keep them alive and well. So at the end of the day, we're doing what we can. We have stepped up the action with our gang task force, but we've got to have mamas and daddies and guardians and friends helping us and the schools.
So do you think it's better for the children or these young troubled teenagers to be locked up versus leaving them on the street or trying to get them to go to school when they're going to continue to do the things that they're doing?
You know what? I'll say this. I'm just sitting here listening. I'm so glad I chose penis over pistols. No.
Stop. Don't do. Save this for another channel. Okay, I need you to focus.
Wait a minute. That just comes out of me. So I apologize.
I need you to focus.
I can't help it. No. Yeah, lock them up. Because listen, there's no secret. I have a nephew, one doing 60 years and one doing 40 years. And they saw me on stages signing autographs. They met celebrities. And I was looking at some pictures of them the other day at the one show we had here. And they were just looking at all these people were asking me for autograph. And I said, how did they go from that to being in prison? But I'm saying,
that's it. Now, you guys didn't raise them that way. They chose that life. Sometimes you can do all that you can do in these.
No. Listen to this. Okay. But I'll say this. My baby sister, as she got older, I look back at these times where she would pull up in the car and the rap something. I'm not blaming the rap. I'm just saying that's how you raise your children. Motherfucker, bitch, son of a two. She was younger. She was a young mom at 12, 13. And so some of the things they saw, some of the men she dealt with may have influenced that, but it didn't come from me, but they weren't in the house. They weren't in my household. So, yeah, you can.
Was this one of the ones that stayed with you? Because I know you've talked to each other, you did help raise one. Was this one of the ones?
I wish it was one of the ones, but no, the one that stayed with me is the one that's still out.
He's not incarcerated.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, good. All right. Do you think that it matters if you have a two-parent home or not, if the dad is in the child's life?
Nope.
That right there's some exact. There are homes where it just women have just done well. Because
Nope.
I'm divorced and I raised my children and my son. I think it's just what it's gonna be. It's gonna be. It's just meant to be.
I like I said, mama, baby, she didn't hold no bars. It wasn't no debate. What I say is what I say. She slapped us and knocked us out in front of anybody. It wasn't no. That's why sometimes I look
Do you
and
consider which that could be considered abuse now?
yes, it is. Listen, if you look at that video I just said the other day, hell, I had a daughter abuse. So I know, but I'm glad I had that because I had that fear. I
Tough
was
love.
I was fearful. Even when I got to the point where I felt like I could physically overtake my mama,
Mm-hmm.
get to there as men, and your voice get a little deeper, you got a little hair on your face, and you didn't had your first wet dream. Come on, I'm just calling it what it is, and you feeling like you a man. You tend to not take what your mother say as okay, yeah, that little pop you doing me upside my head ain't shit, and that's where they lose it. But mama was the type to where I would be scared to walk out my door because I felt like she was sleeping under the porch or behind a tree because that's the stuff that she would do. So,
Well,
you,
you didn't go to you never went to prison or anything. She did her job.
yeah,
Did her job. But and I hate like this man said that this young man right here, his mother, she was a good mother. She did all she could, but sometimes you can do all that you can do, and these children are just still going to go astray. It doesn't. I've seen young men. Mom has a good job. Dad has a good job. Two-parent homes, and they be the worst child.
but I'll tell you what a lot of it has to do with it, and that's social media because, and I'll say that people are too busy worried about what other people think or say about them or try to prove a point for other folk. You know, for a good example, me and my sister was together the other day, and we were talking about how my grandmother called the Goodwill baby huts.
Me and you weren't together. What are you talking about?
Me and Angela. Um, but we were talking about how we didn't care what other people thought because we would go to the Goodwill. My
Mm.
grandma was baby Hudson's, and we would wear that stuff even though it was cheap as hell. But these kids are about labels and who got what and how they look. People will kill you because you embarrass them on social media. We didn't have that growing up.
No, we didn't have. We played.
Yeah, we
Uh,
didn't
we
have
went to bowling alley and played the pinball machine or whatever you call it. So we didn't have none of that kind of stuff. I don't know.
I'll
It's
tell
a
you,
hot mess.
I'm gonna tell you this. My little cousin, her daughter had did something, and the daughter's punishment was to go outside and play. So she couldn't be around the phone or the TV. What type of shit? Do you know how much our punishments was? You had to stay in the house and you looked out the window and all your friends would be at the window tomorrow. What you do? When your mama gonna let you come back out? Now are punishing the children by making them go outside and play. That you see how full circle that is?
Mm-hmm. Wait, just know, say I have two sons, 30 and 21. My oldest hasn't made the best decisions, and neither one is in the streets. But I just pray for the protection every day. And we live in Chicago. Oh, that's good. And y'all live in Chicago? Yes, in Chicago. But you know what? Shoot, even Little Rock, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, it's rough everywhere.
Did
But
you just
that's a blessing. You have, and neither one of them are in the system or in this. That's good. Say what, Mike?
compare Pine Bluff to Chicago? Girl, you need to be whooped.
Child, huh? You look at the news, look at the stats, look at
Mhm.
the stats, and look at the stats of Little Rock. I didn't know it was just so much murking going around here. I did not know. It's not good. The rate has gone up. But I
Wow.
know Chicago does have its problems, but I'm just saying that it's happening all over. It's not just in one secluded area anymore. It's happening all over. Okay, let me get back to the video. Hey, Shawanda, thank you everybody that has stopped by. I appreciate it.
Hey, Rwanda.
System and the community. We're not going to let kids shoot kids. And someone shot this kid. We'll figure it out. Probably another kid. But as you know, When you hang with shooters, bad things happen. And a real bad thing happened to not only Quashan, but his family.
Sheriff, what do you tell these other kids that are out there that are thinking about retaliation for their friends or child?
Certainly, we know right now there's someone out there talking about retaliation. Don't do it. Because you may be a kid thinking, well, I've got to retaliate. Well, understand, we're going to find you too if you do, and you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. No more McDonald's, no more Happy Meals, no more Walmart trips, no going to Disney, no growing up, no having your favorite car. We're going to.
Both of my kids have been to Disney, but I didn't take them. But now the sheriff was going, he was on a little, no more Walmart, no more McDonald's. I know what he's trying to say.
But you know what? Them kids don't give a damn about Walmart or McDonald's. He talking what he gonna do with his children. Tell him no more blunts. Tell him no more blunts. That's crazy. That's the police. They're out of touch. But look, I'm about to go grocery shopping. So anyway, I'm through to say.
Okay. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, but listen, you see how out of touch that police officer tomorrow. No, who gives a damn about a Happy Meal?
No more McDonald's, no more Walmart trips, and no more Disney. You're right.
Look, I ain't never been to Disney World, and I'm 55. Who the hell?
No, my children have been places that they've gone overseas. I'm not going. I don't want to go overseas. They the ones been to Paris and Europe and all that. I'm gonna stay right here. I'm good.
Wait, did you hear what little black kid in America do you think he just bothered when he said that? No more McDonald's.
Well, maybe some. Wait a minute now. We do go to Disney and this, that, and the other, and a lot of folk like going to Wally World.
Listen,
I don't think that's their main priority.
No, not at all. Tell them that they can't
make a point. He was trying to make a point.
Tell them they can't listen to Beyonce and be part of the Bees world, the Bee Hive.
Tell them they can't go to the family barbecue.
That ain't even gonna get them. Tell them they can't predict something with social media. Social media is so powerful, and I don't think people.
I'm gonna take your game and your phone. This, that, and the other.
People don't understand to these kids how important social media it is. Hell, it's important to some of these grown folks.
I was gonna say social media is important to grown folk. This is people's life. Some people, this is all they do. This is their life. But I don't want to get into that right now.
Yeah,
but that's a whole. Mike, that's a whole other video.
Yes. So
yes, it is. Well, what are you cooking today?
You know what? My mama had said she made us some oxtails the other day.
That's what I'm cooking. Well, I got them out.
Yeah, but I'm going to Kroger, so I usually like to buy the whole oxtail. If they're not too expensive, I'll and that other stuff I got finally, what we were talking about.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, you good.
Yeah, I'm ready, baby.
And you not on the cardboard. Social justice has worked for you. Okay.
Yes. What do you mean? You lost me.
The GoFundMe account. That's social justice.
You know what? But let's talk about that a little bit since it's social justice. It was so funny because, and normally I don't address the haters too much or the naysayers. Like yesterday, I happened to put up a post because I don't agree with everything UP says, but I agree with something she said yesterday, and I was saying something about kids taking care of parents instead of parents taking care of kids. And somebody said, "Well, you got taxpayers paying for you," and I had to say, that's the most asinine, ignorant ass question. I mean, ignorant ass statement I ever heard. Because in order for a person to get Social Security, what must they do? Work for I worked over 35 years paying taxes every year. So baby girl, whoever said that dumbass thing, I'm getting back what the fuck I put in. That is what I want to say, first of all. Second more, for people to do, and that goes into the social media thing, for people to do some of the same things you do, or have done it before you. And when you do it, it becomes a problem. Then they'll talk about, well, you didn't get anything. Well, you did it. Wow, didn't nobody donate? But when it still works, come on, somebody.
I have learned that these people are weird, crazy, obsessed, and just a bunch of nutcases. I mean, really, they want to be you. And when I say you, I mean anybody. There's people that they want to copy. When they're jealous of someone, they'll find a reason to talk about them. If I say my name is Social Justice PP, the next thing you look up, somebody else is using the same thing. They want to be social justice. Give me a break. Anywho, I don't want to go there. I'm
Yeah.
over here.
But no, I was just saying, and as far as in my case, to where that's why, a lot of people I said, don't bother me too. It really doesn't.
It just never amazed. It never. I was just so. I never understood why so many people were worried about you and your living situations and your social justice, what you had going on in your social justice life. Okay, that's because that's what it was when they're talking about your living arrangement. That's all part of social justice. And then when the people that love you and want to support you wanted to do something, then they got a problem with that. Well, what do you want?
What the funny part was
what they want is none of their business.
The funny part is first of all, they never knew that I was living with somebody in a relationship for a minute there, but it was none of their business. See, I never knew.
Right.
It was none of their business.
I didn't even know. I didn't know.
So
I think people are supposed to tell that certain people think that people are just supposed to tell them everything about themselves. And no. You can just make up lies if you want to, but no. But anyway.
But when it got to the point where they were it was becoming the number one priority to find out where is CMA at. That there would tickle me to death.
And that's when social justice kicked in, and now all is good, and you're going to be frying chicken in your beautiful kitchen.
But and they still might not see that.
Depends. Well, they don't have to see it; they can just hear the chicken frying.
That's all they. But I never really cared about it.
You have to show nobody nothing. But I wouldn't. Don't show them nothing.
I think what really bothered me most was, even more so than playing my mama's funeral, is trying to mess with my freedom. That there, I just don't play with. That there is what pissed me off even more. Trying to take a man's freedom.
I love being free and paying taxes. Yes, I do.
Yeah. So.
All right, well, you go ahead and shop, and I'm gonna call you when I'm only gonna be on here about another 30 minutes.
All right. See everybody in the chat later. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Bye-bye. Yeah, that was CMA. He stopped by and did a little social justice with us. Now we're gonna get back to this story. We're almost through with this first video.
I'm gonna lock you up. Whoever shot Quashan and killed Quashan is going to jail.
Ooh, wrong picture, honey.
And our goal is to make sure we take him to a jury trial. And our prayer is that whoever shot this young man never breathes another breath of air outside of the walls of a prison. But it's not funny. It's not cool. But listen, folks, you all know they're listening to this gangster rap. They're watching these videos. They're making their own videos. It's cool to do. It is not cool to die. Death is forever. And cool warms up real quick in the morning. When the beer's warm, it's no more fun.
Not the beer.
We are still investigating that. The documentation we saw indicated that he received the status as a gang member through the appropriate work yesterday. Why was that yesterday? Obviously, you don't just say this guy's a gang member. You have to go through several investigative steps, and we're working on that at this time to determine who and where. But we know that his problems ramped up quickly from May. And we know he was running with a bad crowd. And we also know his mother, who is a good lady, thought he was in bed asleep last night. He was at home when she went to bed with her infant.
Sure, you described the neighbor's surveillance cam video. Briefly, could you tell us exactly what you saw on that surveillance camera?
I could, but I won't. You know, we obviously see things on that surveillance video that I'm not discussing today because we want to protect that, because we know it and the shooter knows it. But we don't want the public to know it, because as we talk to witnesses and potential suspects, we want information that only they know and we know.
But it was right before 2:30.
Well, the shooting happened before 2:30 a.m.
I agree.
I'm not saying how soon before. Okay? Any questions? Any more questions? Going once, going twice. We'll update you, but folks, it's time for the communities, not just in this county, across the state and nation. This is a problem across the nation.
Hey, Miss Lorraine.
And it's all because it's being enabled and it's being encouraged by social media and gangbanger videos.
Gangbanger videos and social media. He says that's what's driving our young youth to do some of the things that they're doing. You know, they listen to these rap songs. I mean, what do you got? I listen to rap. What do you guys think? I mean, it doesn't make, listen to the rap songs doesn't make me want to go gangbang somebody, but I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that statement.
And music and this running and gunning. And they don't show you the last chapter of the book. The last chapter, one of you's dead and the other's life in prison.
Facts.
And you live by the gun long enough, you'll die by the gun, and that's a guarantee. Okay? See you later.
Okay, so that was all on that one. Let me get the next video where they have made an arrest and he is going to break it down. Yes, he is, honey. Let me get it. Arrest made. It's a good one.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being with me today as we wrap up and I explain to you the best that I can the murder of a 15-year-old. And what I'm about to tell you is an absolute poop show.
He gonna break it down.
Here it is. Let me start by telling you none of these people work. The 15-year-old's not in school. Every one of them lied about everything. And as I lay this out, you'll understand all the confusion. Let me start with Jay Scavia, who's 23, and Pierre Salver, who's 34. They're cousins. Not only are they cousins, well, I guess they kind of work. They run a trap house, or as it's known in the neighborhood, the weed house.
So those two right there, those two on the end there, they run a trap house. They run the local weed house. Oh, the sheriff's about to break it down. You two, we just giving a little commentary. We learning about what a trap house is, aka a local weed house. And those two men who are cousins, the sheriff just said that they ran the local trap house. All right, let's continue.
And Jace is known as the weed man. So I'm going to talk today about the foundation of all of this problem. It's that thing that people want to call low-level, nonviolent drugs, marijuana. You know, it's not a problem. Well, it's not a problem until you get a 15-year-old kid shot and killed, right? So anyway, Jace, and we don't want to forget him, he just got out of prison where he did 5 years. And this was...
I mean, you go to prison and you stay there 5 years, you think you'd want to get out and not do anything that could put you back in prison. Right? Just asking for another friend. Just want to know.
having to do with shootings, right? Pierre in 2013 got out of prison after doing 4 years for robbery and burglary and child neglect. So let me take them off the page for a minute, because on that particular night of this event at their trap house, this all happened at the Weed House. Pierre was in a short-term rental up at the northeast area of the county, so he wasn't directly involved in this. I highly suspect he was either partying or selling dope or both. Jace was apparently in.
So he say since he wasn't at home, he was out selling some of his weed for the trap house and partying. Oh, the sheriff is a child. I think the sheriff gonna shut down all the trap houses in that area.
In the Weed House when the shooting occurred. And of course, knowing the cops are coming and the shooting outside, he flees. So we're back to an event. And here's what happened. Jace talked to Lilia, who lives across the street. Lilia is a convicted felon.
Shut your mouth.
She wants a firearm. She can't buy it legitimately because she's a convicted.
So Lilia, who's the only female in there, looks like she might be Hispanic. I don't know if she's Hispanic, white, or other. I don't know. It doesn't matter. She's the only female. She's a convicted felon. She's not supposed to own a firearm. She's not supposed to be able to buy one, but she's going to find a loophole, evidently, and get a firearm. Lilia, she talks to the trap house owner, is what the sheriff just said. And she told him she wants a gun, although she knows she's not supposed to have one. Okay, y'all following me? Y'all, are you following the sheriff?
Felon, she has to buy it off of the street. Yeah. So when Lilia tells Jace, I need a firearm, he refers her to Rashawn. Rashawn's 20 years of age. Now listen to this a minute. Listen clearly.
So Jace, I think Elliot tells Jace she wants a gun. Jace refers her to Rashawn. And then Quashawn is the 15-year-old. Rashawn, I think his name, he's 20. He's the one that's going to help Lilia, who's a convicted felon, get a gun from the streets. And if you're buying a weapon from the streets, you don't know where the weapon's been, what it's been involved in. Do you?
He's 20 years of age. He's already got 53 felony charges lodged against him. 26 misdemeanor.
Okay, 50. How are you still able to be free? I don't understand how people commit all these crimes and don't get locked up. Then some people do one little thing and I don't get it. Is it that the jails are just full? Had he been locked up, he wouldn't have been able to go get a gun for this woman to buy.
Charges lodged against him, and he's been to prison. That's right. So he just got out of jail. He got a year sentence in jail. So, I mean, we take him out of the ability to commit crime for a year, and he's still got 53 felonies and 26 misdemeanors. I digress. So let me get back to the storyline.
Wait a minute.
So Jace, here's...
Did the sheriff just say he digressed? He digressed. He's getting back to the meat of the story. Lilia wants a weapon. She goes to the trap house owner, who refers her to this 20-year-old with 50 plus felony charges, but he's still free. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense.
From Lilia, I want to buy a gun. I'm a convicted felon. She hooks him up with Rashawn. Rashawn's in Bartow now. So Lilia and Rashawn meet up at a Circle K. And guess what? Rashawn sells Lilia a gun. So here's the gun that Rashawn sells to Lilia. Did I happen to mention to you that the gun is stolen in a burglary out of Lakeland where Rashawn's suspected of committing the burglary? They negotiate the price. Lilia agrees to pay him $200. So now Lilia,
So the sheriff knows all of this. That lets you know somebody done told everything. They done sung like a bird, pointing fingers over here and over there. Because the sheriff he appears to know a whole lot right now. And I don't really want to show the picture of this gun.
has a gun that she takes back to her house, which is across the street from the weed house.
She lived across the street from the
So
trap.
Rashawn calls Lilia up and says, hey, I want to give you some more bullets or sell you some more bullets. And Lilia thinks this is an odd statement, but hey, what the heck? She gives Rashawn her address. Rashawn, in the meantime, this is Monday, September the 11th. When this conversation takes place, it's about 10:30 at night. So Rashawn then goes by and picks up Quashan, who's 15 years of age. So
Rashawn, who's 20, goes and pick up the 15-year-old Quashan, who was supposed to be at home in the bed. When his mama went to bed, he was on the sofa on his phone playing a computer game, playing a game. And mama went to bed. She thought her son was still at the house. But this 20-year-old felon comes and picks up her 15-year-old son. Listen to the sheriff.
Rashawn and Quashan go to Winter Haven. Rashawn is going to deliver bullets to Lilia. What he really wants to do is hook up and have sex. And then they're up there, they're going to buy some marijuana. So Quashan gets in the car with Rashawn to go buy marijuana, and Rashawn's going to hook up with Lilia. So they arrive there. It's sometime just before midnight. Quashan is no place to be seen. He's out of the car. When Lilia comes out and gets in the front passenger side of Rashawn's car. Well, they talk about bullets and they talk about sex. Lilia has a purse with money in it. While Lilia is talking to Rashawn, she says, things don't seem just right here. And about that time, Quashan opens the passenger door and starts trying to rob Lilia at gunpoint.
So the 15-year-old that he picked up, who was on the sofa playing video games on his phone when his mama went to bed, this 20-year-old felon picked him up, brought him over to the trap house and to Lilia's house. He got out the car before Lilia got in the car, and now he's come back and he's trying to rob her and take her purse. But they just sold Lilia a weapon that she does have on her, okay?
So Quashan supposedly, according to everything we can put together, he's 15, is trying to rob Lilia at gunpoint. Lilia's fighting to hold on to her purse that's strapped across her body. Quashan's trying to pull her out of the car or pull the backpack kind of pocketbook deal off of her. Well, apparently they forgot they sold her this gun. So now Lilia pulls the gun out of the pocket because she's being robbed at gunpoint and shoots Quashan, who's robbing her. Did you hear what I said? You can't make this stuff up.
So is that self-defense? Is she wrong for protecting herself? What do you guys think? If he was in fact trying to rob her at gunpoint and she defends herself, will she be charged?
So knowing that they had given her a gun early and she's going out to set with Rashawn, she puts the gun in her pocket so she has it. And when Quashan decides he's going to rob Lilia, she shoots him and down he goes. So she runs into her home. Rashawn takes off and leaves Quashan dead in the driveway. He lays there about 2 hours. Lily goes into the house. She goes, I can't stay here. The cops are certainly on their way. So she leaves and she's hiding for the next 3 days. She finally comes back on Friday morning of that week and we grab her up.
You're right. So Miss Ellen says she wasn't wrong for defending herself. He was allegedly indeed trying to rob her, but she did buy a stolen weapon and she was a convicted felon who was not supposed to own a weapon. So she still messed up.
Now I want to say something. Rashawn's charged with felony murder because Quashan is killed in the process of committing a felony against Lilia. Follow me? Rashawn's mother is an honorable woman. She said, I'd not had Rashawn in this house in 6 months. He's a grown man. He wouldn't behave.
Now he's talking about the 20-year-old now. He's talking about that one where my mouse is. Not the 15-year-old. He's talking about the mother of the 20-year-old. He's a convicted felon. His mother is saying, you know, hey, he hadn't been in her house in 6 months because he just wouldn't do right. He couldn't get right. Let's finish listening to the sheriff, honey.
He was a criminal. Rashawn's mother is a wonderful, wonderful lady. And looked Rashawn in the eye and told him, you need to cooperate this. You got yourself into trouble. You need to cooperate with law enforcement. She dressed him down in the presence of deputies. Rashawn's mother did what mothers should do, and that's to make sure their children are held accountable. So he gave us a story. Quashan can't talk to us. Obviously, he's deceased and he's only 15 years of age, and he's a gang member. Lilia said, I was being robbed and I defended myself. At this point in the investigation, she is apparently the victim of a robbery whereby she defended herself and shot the suspect, Quashan. And Rashawn confirms that. She's still under investigation, and we've arrested her for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, tampering with evidence. Oh, by the way, she had a lot of cocaine and marijuana at her house. She was a drug dealer. So I guess when I said they all weren't working, at least this one, and this one selling drugs. So maybe that's their job. We have filed.
You know, this sheriff, he has a way with words. Okay, so those first three, not the Quashan and the Rashawn, the 15-year-old with the dreads, that's the one who lost his life. The one right next to him, I think that's Quashan. I think he's the one that picked him up at about 12 something at night and took him over there where the 15-year-old tried to rob the lady, Lilia, I think. And they had sold her a weapon earlier. She turned around and used that weapon to defend herself, stand her ground, and took his life and left him deceased in her driveway. And someone found him after about 2 hours. The other two men on the end there ran the local trap, aka weed house, which just happened to be across the street from Lilia, who the sheriff just says she also sold some narcotics. She was a pharmaceutical person herself, okay? Y'all following me? It's a lot to digest, I know.
Dozens of charges against these four folks. That investigation is still underway. But at the end of the day, we have a 15-year-old kid that's dead. When mother went to bed, the 15-year-old kid was sitting on the couch playing games on his iPhone, like 15-year-old kids do. When she woke up at 3 o'clock to feed her infant child, guess what? He was not on the couch. She figured he'd gone to bed. And when she wakes up in the morning to the knock on her door, our detectives are telling us her 15-year-old child was murdered. And that's a shame. It's a shame that he's a gang member. It's a shame that he robbed.
You know, so she gets awakened, a knock on her door from the police, telling her that her son is deceased, and she thought he was in the bed. Can you imagine? And she did all she could. You know, like he just said, he was on the sofa playing video games on his iPhone when she went to bed. When she woke up at 3 to feed the infant, she just assumed that he had went in his room and actually went to bed. But Rushan, I think had picked him up and took him to the trap house area where he tried to rob that female.
Lilia. This investigation is still underway, and the details are subject to change as the investigation goes on. But at the end of this investigation, there are no winners. Any questions?
Did Rashawn know that Quashan was going to rob Lilia? Was that the plan from the beginning?
He has not admitted that. However,
No.
Quashan was not in the car at the time.
I think Rushan, the one that picked up Quashan, knew that he was going to try and rob. I think they conspired it together. Now they're trying to put it all off on the 15-year-old who's deceased. I think he knew that he was going to do that. That's why he got out of the car before that woman got in the car. Just my opinion. Allegedly, okay? Allegedly.
Quashan invited Lilia into the car. So did he think Quashan was out buying dope? Or was this the intentional ruse to get Lilia in the car so that they could go back and rob her of her dope, of her money, maybe even, heck, take the gun back that he had just sold? We don't know.
What's the relationship between Rashawn and Quashan?
The friends. Look, folks, when you live by the gun, you die by the gun. And that's what we have here. These folks have been in prison. They've been in the jail. They've all got criminal histories. And at the end of the day, we have a 15-year-old kid that's dead. And mom said, he's 15, I can't do anything with him.
Is there any remorse shown from Rashawn or Lilia?
No. Well, Lilia went back into the house for an hour and then got in her car and fled and left this 15-year-old kid dead in the driveway, only to be discovered by someone else. The streets can be rough. And I've given you the 30,000-foot view. If we had time to get into the history and what sent all these people to prison, you would be shocked.
Ooh, I wish you had time.
You absolutely would
I
be
want
shocked.
to know. Hey, Smitty.
But guns and drugs end up with murder.
Y'all hear that?
If you have drugs, you're going to see guns. If you have guns and drugs, you're going to see robbery. And if you see drugs and guns and robbery, you're going to see murder. And that's exactly what this was. Okay? Thank you very much. You certainly can. They'll hold them all up for you. Have a good day.
Well, Y'all heard what he said. Y'all heard what he said, and he said what he said. Guns and drugs lead to robbery, and all that leads to murking. Um, so to sum it up, the 15-year-old, his mom did all that she could. She still loved, she loved her child. And the sheriff said that the 15-year-old loved his mother. She went to bed. She thought he was still on, he was on the sofa playing the game. She woke up. She thought he had gone to bed. Little did she know a convicted ex-prison con had picked up her son at 12 something in the midnight hour. And the man didn't force him to go. The boy got in the car with him willingly. And they went over there to the trap house area where the other guy, the 20-year-old, has sold that woman who's a convicted felon, Lilia, who was not supposed to have a weapon. That's why she was buying them hot on the street. She bought a weapon from him earlier for $200. So he goes back to bring her bullets, and the 15-year-old is in the car, gets out the car before he lets the woman in. Then allegedly he comes back and he's trying to take her purse. That's what they're saying. He's gone. He's deceased. We don't know. I don't know if that's really how it happened. I just don't know. Maybe that 20-year-old was mad at that boy and he set him up to get murked. You just never know. Could have been something that a deal that they had made that had gone wrong. And now they're saying, oh, he was trying to rob me. But she's still being charged because she was a convicted felon. And he also said, the sheriff said that she had a lot of cocaine in her house. She was a dope dealer, a pharmaceutical lady. All right, guys. Thank y'all. That's my social justice. It's been just a little over an hour. That was the social justice hour for today. We will be getting back into more of the Ben Crump type stuff. And I'm going to be going back to the Murdaugh trial because, honey, Murdaugh, there was a crooked courtroom clerk or something giving information to one of the jurors. This man may get off. He may get a new trial or whatever because of a technicality, because somebody was stupid enough. You can't make this up. A courtroom clerk allegedly was giving information to one of the jurors in the Murdaugh trials. So I will be going back to covering the Murdaugh trials, I forgot which one of my subscribers came in here and told me about that. I was one of the first to start reporting about Murdaugh over here. I was the first in this little sector, okay? I can't remember her name. Oh, my goodness, but she told me about that. And I wish I had started covering it from the beginning. But he may get a new trial because if the juror was tampered with or if there was any wrongdoing, you have to give him a new trial, unfortunately. Unfortunately, no matter how much the evidence may go towards him. But we're going to get back into that. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. It's been Social Justice Hour with your girl, Philly Phil, where we do, we bring breaking news and everything else. We do it all over here. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Go Cowboys. I got to go put on my cowboy gear, get ready for the game. See y'all later.